Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Songs That Changed My Life. My name is Emma G, singer, songwriter, full-time musician, artist, mentor, empowerment youth coach, and author of My Life, My Songs, My Healing, of course, because, music is powerful and music changed lives. And it doesn't just change the lives of those who listen to the music, although, we hope that that's the case. More importantly, it changes the lives of the songwriters. And tonight, I'm so blessed to be joined yet again. She joined me for my previous podcast, Real Talk with Emma G, and she's back again to share the magic behind her lyrics, her art, her world. Asha Santee, aka Boomskat, how the fuck are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you.
Yes, you are. It's
Great.
so good to see you.
Good to
So
see
good
you.
to see you. It's I think we caught up almost. It feels like I'm going to say 7 months ago, 8 months ago,
Something like that.
maybe
Something.
9 months ago, and it just, it it breaks my heart that we're still in this zone of just like virtual
Yes.
connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at least we have technology. At least we're not living in the 1800s right now. So there is always that. Cool. So tell me about you. Tell me who you are. What's your jazz? What makes your heart happy?
My
And
jazz.
yeah, what's your jazz?
Well,
And like, what's your tea,
Asha
right?
right.
Tea.
Asha Santee, and I am a musician, drummer, keyboardist, vocalist, producer, engineer, visual artist. I am most things that I'd like to imagine myself being while I do that thing that I'm trying to do. Um, just overall, multidisciplinary artist. And my jazz, to be honest, I'm still figuring out my new jazz,
Okay. Okay.
because a
I
lot
see
of
you.
things have had to uh
Don't
change.
say it. Okay. If you say pivot, I'm gonna cry.
No. Not pivot. We wouldn't be here if anything pivoted. Um, but I'm still trying to figure out what that new jazz is, and what the distribution of my um all of my different practices looks like.
Mm, mm, mm,
But
mm.
mostly it's love, it's um self-awareness, it's honesty, and it's living on the edge a little bit. So
Amen. Amen for that. I feel like we're all kind of being forced to live on the edge at the moment. So it's wonderful to be, as an artist, to kind of have already been in that place. We've been
yeah,
living that space for a while now. That's
yeah.
that's cool. I love it. So tell me about, your song "Ooh Ah." I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Is it like "ooh ah"? Like, is there
You
kind of
know
some
what?
sort of intonation, but "ooh ah"?
The joy about the title of this song is that I still don't even know how to pronounce it. Okay, so most times when I look at it, I'm like, okay, ooh ah, ooh ah.
Ooh
That
ah ah.
it's however the
It's
person
like
sees
ooh ah ah. Chang,
it.
chang. Well, no, okay. But no. So tell me about it. Like, what was the motivation behind the song? Because obviously this podcast is all about the songs that change our lives. Um, and this is a deeply personal song for you. For
It is.
like, it's, I mean, from an outsider's perspective, as somebody who's known you for a while, but not intimately, um, the lyrics just kind of rip at my heart a little bit and make me feel all the things. But like, tell me, talk to me. I want to know what is in your brain.
Well, Ginkgo is the second to last song on my most recent album. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Ooh Ah is the second to last song on my most recent album called Ginkgo.
Okay.
And Ginkgo is pretty much a self reflection, kind of look at myself, kind of throw myself under the bus. It's me singing to myself in a few ways, and kind of placing a tiny magnifying glass over the trifling ways that I've exhibited in interacting with women and in relationships. So ooh ah, we'll just call it ooh ah for right now. So we
Okay.
can remember that. So ooh ah is it's it's like a second coming out song basically, and I pressured myself to write this song to, I guess, start breaking down that stigma in the LGBT community about masculine women dating other masculine presenting women.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote it because my attraction towards a masculine presenting woman is real. And
Mm-hmm.
when I experienced that attraction, it threw me off because it wasn't it wasn't normal for me. And I grew up with the stigma that, these heteronormative type, ways of thinking
Right.
in this
Right.
community, I didn't realize how that was still kind of in me until I had to face it myself. So,
That's valid.
right.
That's valid. I never thought of it. Clearly, we don't often talk about that sort of, who often when you are presented with a gay couple, I think people have a tendency to be like, so who's the dude and who's the woman,
Exactly.
right? And you're just like, actually, can we not just both be women, right? Like, or both be just fucking human? Like,
Exactly. Exactly. Um,
that's fascinating. Okay. Can you
yeah.
tell me like you know, I feel like I've never had to come out, right? For me, growing up in New Zealand, sexuality is something that I think is a little less linear, more of a, fluid thing, at least where I grew up or how I grew up. So there's not necessarily any sort of like coming out that I had to go through. But when it comes to like, you describe this as your second coming out song. How is that? What was that process like for you? What did that look like? Feel like?
It was more so just kind of like pushing myself off the ledge, like
Right.
just release the song, and these are your feelings. Release the album, make the album.
Yeah.
These are your feelings, and what is it going to hurt you to just continue to be yourself
Right.
authentically
Right.
without having to put up this face and without having to add to the the stigma of, you know masculine presenting women, being attracted to other ones, and being in relationships, and just that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it I was nervous, very nervous, because I didn't know how, I was going to be looked at, which was also crazy as well, because why should I care? Why should I
Right.
care about how other people view my relationships? So it was a lot of unlearning and a lot of reflecting on childhood and where this first became something for me. I remember being in high school and being asked, "So, are you a stud or a fish?" I grew up in Houston, so some people don't don't know the language. Apparently, many people don't know fish, but that's what I knew. Okay, so he was either a boy girl or a girl girl, and
Okay.
I didn't necessarily call myself a stud, because I was like, whoa, these are pretty heavy extremes here. Um, so yeah, I had to deal with a lot with this particular song because I was so in that box
Right.
from middle school about
Right.
there only being two types. you know.
I'm sorry, can you clarify what is a stud and what is a fish?
Okay, so it's back in the day, a stud would be considered the more masculine presenting
Okay. Okay.
female woman. There's a lot of language here. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, and a fish was considered more of the girly girl type girls.
Okay.
So it was only
Okay.
one or the other.
Interesting.
Very.
Huh. People, man. People. Okay. So so we're grappling with a whole bunch of ideas. I mean, you're right. And especially I feel, in the last I feel like we made a lot of progress when Obama was in office, and then we kind of skipped back to the 50s over the last 4 years. Um, for people of color, but also for the LGBTQIA plus community.
Mhm.
How did that affect your songwriting process? And what was your songwriting process for this? Because, writing about real shit can be really scary. We're forcing ourselves to be super vulnerable and dig deep into parts of ourselves that we may not have before giving ourselves permission to really lean into. What did that look like for you?
Well, the process of writing this song um, was also really since I was throwing myself off that ledge.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, you might as well have fun with this. There's no need.
Yes.
There's no need to hold back. There's no need to mask anything. Like my process was a lot of the first thing that comes to mind, do it and don't
Right.
question it. So if you listen to the track, it opens up with uh, me going back and forth saying masculine, feminine. Are you a boy? Are you a girl? I mean, she wears girl clothes, but I don't know. She's like a
Right.
girl. She's so, just like playing with those emotions that I had when I felt that attraction for the first time, and just using different voices and also producing different. I was just like, okay, how can we make this? Typically I like to make uh tracks that are super vibey, super in the R&B sexy type groove, but this one I was just like, okay, how can we fuse a little bit of dance, a little bit of house, a little bit of afro, and
Mm.
still have that sexiness to it that's naturally how I produce.
Yeah.
So the creative process for this song was really fun because it was a mixture of, okay, we're doing this, and oh my god, I can't believe that you're doing this.
I have to say though, I mean, I love the fact that that you, as you just proclaimed, you produce sexy music, but you're always challenging yourself, and I think that's one of the beautiful parts about this is that you're always pushing the boundaries, pushing your own personal boundaries, and not just musically as a producer, because I've seen you perform and you're fucking incredible, but also just as a lyricist, you're always just kind of like, oh, you're comfortable with like that weird thing that thing you thought was weird last week. Let me just like introduce a new level and just like really challenge people to think their biases, right?
Mhm.
I love that. I think
Yeah,
it's great. It's great.
thank thank you.
Um, so this is like a love fest here. Just don't mind me.
Good.
So what was the biggest breakthrough that you think you achieved right through writing this song? I mean, obviously it was, you're coming to terms with your own personal um, concerns and worries about how people are going to perceive you as you move from the fish to the to
It
the
was,
stud.
don't worry about it. It wasn't necessarily like a movement. It was just um an acceptance and evolution,
Yeah,
and how
yeah.
I feel love and how I view love and attraction, and what you see in other people, and judging things up front.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I think the biggest breakthrough was definitely just that, because that was a lock in me.
Hmm.
Um I've never experienced an attraction like this where I question it, and where at one point I was willing to kind of like crush it and like beat it up because it felt wrong. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
But we're not really challenged until we actually have the experience. So even though I've been learning all of the new language that comes with being in the community, just because I'm 34, doesn't mean that I know it all. It's all still a continuous work as the language is evolving.
Hmm.
So as that language evolves, so does the mindset behind really understanding it and continuing to figure out yourself, and recognize that you were in a box,
Yeah.
and recognize that you were um basically holding yourself back from something that you possibly deserve, or something that could possibly be the happiest thing for you. You know what I'm saying? So
For sure.
that breakthrough was just in writing the song, in performing the song, releasing it, and just being unapologetic about it.
I love it. Unapologetic is basically, I feel like, the middle name of everybody that I know. That's what we strive to be, right? That's what we
Yeah,
strive for.
yeah.
Unapologetic dopeness. Um, have you received any feedback from your fans, your friends, your family?
Um, I've received feedback from friends and family.
Not from fans, really?
Oh, from fans?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fans as well.
Okay.
This song is actually probably the favorite song on the album.
Not
Um,
surprising. Hmm.
and it's a lot of it is just like thank yous for continuing to be you. Thank you for continuing to tell your story and evolve with it and be brave.
Hmm.
I never really knew what it took me a little bit of time to understand what it meant when people said that I was brave. I'm like,
Hmm.
what? I'm just writing a song about my life, but
Well,
you have
that's
to
brave.
realize, I
A
didn't
lot
I
of people
didn't
don't.
realize that. I didn't realize that,
People are
honestly.
scared of themselves. Come on, man.
This this is just what I do. But when I like sit down and like actually hear somebody's story and be like, no, like I would never be able to tell that truth and to
Right.
share it with the world. And so when somebody explains it like that, I'm just like, you know what? You're right, because I was a little bit scared during this process.
Yeah.
So and my family has had the opportunity. I actually had a private listening session last March, and my whole family flew up to be here.
Oh, wow.
They
That's
listened
cool.
to it, so my family loves it, and I think that it's built the relationship between me and my family a little bit more, so that they understand it. It wasn't just, hey, mom, dad, brothers, I released another album, go listen to it when you can.
Mm.
No, they participated in the process. I blindfolded everybody in the room and went through the album.
Wow. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was just
You
a straight listen through. And I think that was another moment for them to like really understand who I am, how I'm
Mhm,
evolving, who I've been in relationships. The album is
mhm.
not all nice or anything. I also call myself out and call out all my BS and nasty ways. So yeah.
I love that. I love that. Sorry, I don't mean to grin when you say nasty. I'm just thinking of the nasty girl, the nasty woman trend that broke out. I'm like, of course you're a nasty. Well, you call bullshit out from yourself and for other people. So I love that.
I had to, man. Sometimes you wake up, you're like, golly, come on, you can do so much better, Asha Santee.
Well,
Ugh.
and it's interesting you say that because, the last year has been really hard for a lot of people. And, you've been one of the voices that has, um, you know, certainly been open and honest about the struggles as, as an artist and as a creative and as somebody just trying to like make it through, this pandemic. But, you're right. Like we have to kind of just wake up and be like, hey, quit moaning, start growing. Like,
Right.
right. And especially, having released your album at the beginning of the pandemic, how has that process been like for you, as you've continued to create and release music?
I could be, well, I can be better. I mean, we can always be better at something. But after this was released on March 1st, and
Little did you
it
know.
was only right, you know what I'm saying? Like it was only like
17
a
days later.
week after that before my gig started canceling, and
Oh,
then
damn.
the world came to an end, and I was like, what? So I forgot about my album. Like
Okay.
I was in crisis mode, honestly. Like many of us were, like especially everybody actually, because the world
Yeah.
literally shut down. So no, there was no grade or anything. So I was like, okay, well, how am I gonna make money? I know I'm not gonna make it off a Spotify stream. So, so just trying to continue to push that and see how creative I could be with events and performing it live acoustically. But it was a rough year. I just got to be honest about that. So, but I'm still very excited and proud of the album and consider it new and timeless. So,
you're fantastic. You're just this. I love it. And on that note, I would love to listen to the song and have the audience listen. And of course, there's so much more that you make under the guise of Boomskat. So on that note, let's have a listen to Ooh Ah Ah. Where are we? There we go. That is not playing, is it? What is going on? Okay. And this is like the fun part about being an indie artist, is that we now have to try and figure out how to fix technical glitches when you're an indiepreneur like I am. Okay, let's try that again, shall we?
Video?
No. I mean, do you have a YouTube video? Would you prefer YouTube?
I mean, it might work.
Okay, let's try that.
Try that. Let's see if we can get that right on up to you. All right, I'll shoot you that link now.
Love it.
Wow.
Boom. Scat.
Never gets old.
This is why I don't do comedy, guys. Just so, I mean, I appreciate the pity laugh there, Asha, but
listen, that's why I said it never gets old. I love Boomskat.
Oh, it'd be nice if I had a mute.
I mean, she wears her clothes. Are you a boy? I mean, they're like boy clothes. Masculine, feminine. She's like a girl. What the fuck? What are you? She's so. Caught me by surprise, her eyes. Face turned red 'cause I was shy. And I was sitting on my couch. She leaned
Well, damn. That's
Wow.
beautiful.
Yes.
Wow. I love like just the flavors of your style. They're just gorgeous. You
Thank
just make pure magic, and you know the way that your lyrics dance around the music in a way that I think is it just really resonates and hammers the message really home really nicely. And it's subtle, but it's like a subtle punch in the face.
I get you. I get you. Receive.
You
Thank
know what I mean? Like, so thank you so much.
you.
So one last question. How can people get hold of you? How can people follow you? How can people support you?
Well, social media.
Okay.
Instagram. At note to self, NOTE, the number 2, SELFINC. Ginkgo is streamed everywhere. Digital music is sold and streamed. So definitely do that. Folks can also reach me at ashasantee.com. And there you can find my visual art, my t-shirts, my music, videos, private drum lessons, gallery tours. I take folks on
Awesome.
virtual tours of my basement gallery here. And everything is at ashasantee.com.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Asha. You're incredible. I'm so privileged to know you and to be able to like get inspiration from your music. Of course, my name is Emma G. I am a singer-songwriter, and you know, I want to say thank you to my Emma G Nation supporters for helping me, you know, keep on making these videos and these podcasts. If you are interested in joining, you can find the details at emmagmusic.com. Until then, be good, be kind, stay out of trouble, be your own kind of superhero, and don't forget to, I don't know, save the world. Write a song, be brave, be vulnerable, and, you know, brush your teeth on a daily basis.
Wear your mask.
Wear a mask, that too.
Appreciate you.